Hi, I'm Charlie Newell, Artistic Director of Court Theater. We've wanted to share with you the context for some of the work that we've done over the years and give you a sense of not just that particular production, but something that is often kind of underlying or fueling our work. So in this instance, I wanted to share some thoughts about developing our production of Arthur Miller's All My Sons that we did a few years back. As I like to say, dramaturgy, in other words, the research behind the productions, is such a critical lifeblood for any production that we do at Court Theater, and this one was no exception. What we found through the extraordinary dramaturgical detective work of Nora Titone, our resident dramaturg, is that Arthur Miller had actually started out as a writer of radio, developed his craft, but was not known as Arthur Miller, but rather Artie Miller, when he then wrote a play that was very autobiographical. In the archives of the Miller estate, we've discovered, thanks to Nora's work, 3 different drafts or final versions of All My Sons, so that you could really trace, almost like an archaeologist sort of digging through the layers of the drafts, the evolution, the thinking, the way that Miller crafted his text. And we also really realized that being an unknown playwright, he committed to a full production of a text that actually he didn't feel, based on his diaries and other entries, was actually complete. So in this clip, what you're going to see is not only an extraordinary design by John Colbert, a scenic design of a backyard of Americana, but done in an abstract way. You'll also see, though, how much in Kate Keller, performed by Kate Collins, how the mother's speech is actually built upon the multiple drafts of the text that we found doing this dramaturgical work. So I want to play this to give you a sense of how that monologue of Kate's developed because of the dramaturgy we did in the earlier drafts of Miller's play.
Can I get you an aspirin?
It's not like a headache.
You don't sleep, that's why.
I had a terrible night.
So it's Kate, John Judd,
Dream?
and Tim
It was
Kaine.
more than a dream.
About Larry?
I was fast asleep, and do you remember how he used to fly low past the house when he was in
So
train?
in that
And
monologue,
you used
in
to
these
see his
various
face in the
drafts, there
cockpit
was
going by?
multiple different variations
That's the
about
way I
stage
saw him,
directions,
only
about
high
what
up,
Kate
way,
might
way
be
up where the
doing and where
clouds
she's
are.
looking and how she's responding.
He was so
So
real, I could
using
reach
all
out
of
and
those
touch him.
layers of the
And
drafts of
suddenly
the
he started
play
to fall and
just
crying,
gave us so
crying
many
to me,
choices and so
Mom,
many
Mom.
ideas, and so much
I could hear him
informed the
like he was in the
design, the
room.
staging, and
Mom.
most especially the extraordinary performances of all
It
the
was his
actors in the
voice.
production, which,
And I knew
if
if
we
I
had
could
just
just
used
touch him, I could stop him.
version
I
of the
could
play
only...
that you can just buy off a bookshelf
Then
or get off a
I woke
bookshelf,
up and it was so
we never
funny.
would have known
The
and never would have been
wind.
inspired by it.
It was like the roaring of his engine. And I came out here. I must have still been asleep. And I could hear that roaring like he was going by. And the tree snapped right in front of me. And I came awake.
It's that kind of deep dive into the genesis of the making of a classic text, both what was the playwright's world and life and world like, and therefore the necessity of writing this play. Because, of course, no playwright, well, I can think of maybe one or two, but most playwrights don't sit down and think to themselves, I'm now going to write a classic text. But rather, they're speaking from their heart. They're speaking from their experience. It's only through time have they tapped into something so elemental and so timeless that we then keep needing to do it over and over again and begin to call a text a classic. But with our dramaturgical work, the more we can get back to that place of original genesis and inspiration and passion for that writer to need to put the words to paper, can we really understand how that play came to be, and therefore all of the choices about design and casting and everything else come out of that place of, as it were, original intent. I hope that's helpful and gives you some context, not simply for this production, but it's a kind of a process that Court Theater is often using so that we can continue to look at these texts that have such a history, find out where their genesis came from, and reimagine them as we move forward.